Part 15. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 141. Zhao Yongmeng, who was powerful in combat, quickly chopped down several zombies in the corridor. Then he cleared out a room similar to an employee lounge. The group settled here first, closed the door, and discussed their next move. There were 5 people in the room, and the other one was the bald uncle who spoke at the beginning. He joined this group probably because he was attracted by Zhao Yongmeng's force. Zhao Yongmeng was a little tired after chopping several zombies in a row. So Xiaoming and others heard that uncle speak first. Please introduce yourself. I'm Zhenbo. I'm a small manager in a hotel. I'm good at interpersonal communication. My physical strength is. He shook his head as he spoke. If you know that you don't have good physical strength, don't accept the invitation of the reincarnation space. Don't mention the name. It's best not to reveal your real name in a place like the reincarnation space. Give each of you a code name. You can mention your ability. Zhao Yongmeng has recovered his breath in this moment. He originally planned to speak later. But this Uncle Zhen's tone was a bit off. In order to protect the country's reserve talents, Brother Yongmeng quickly interrupted. It also stopped Brother Wen's impulse to sign up. The uncle who had already signed up had a black line on his face. It seemed that I was the only one who revealed my real name. You should have said it earlier. Whether to report the name first or not, the settings of different novels are different. Xiaoming felt that Brother Zhao was right. He should be more cautious. It's better to be careful. Xiaoming and the other 2 looked at the uncle's constipated expression and had a hard time holding back their laughter. Although he was an uncle, in fact, only Xiao Jing'er was a young person among the 5 people, and the ages of the other 4 were not much different. Unfortunately, Xiaoming, who was nearly 40 years old, looked not much different from the younger version of Xiaoming, and he could be recognized at a glance. Originally, looking younger was a point that Xiaoming was proud of, but this time it became a burden. Zhao Yongmeng's original body recognized the original body of a certain teammate at a glance. The look he gave Xiaoming was naturally a little abnormal. Xiaoming pretended that he didn't know him at all. He was a geek who was not good at acting, so he was not very good at this. Fortunately, he could use the telepathic ability Ju to hide his whole body's aura. It was not for invisibility, but just to reduce his presence in Brother Zhao's eyes, so that he could not notice his abnormality. That makes sense, brother, then I will call you Fatty. It's just a reincarnation space, Fatty will help you to break through it, Zhang Wen immediately said heroically. Brother Wen is really so extravagant that he even takes advantage of a nickname. Xiaoming secretly complained. I'll call you leader. Damn, you still have the nerve to complain about others, you are even more conceited. Leader sister, Xiao Jing said concisely. Several people have forgotten to talk about their own abilities. Then, Zhao Yongmeng glanced at Xiaoming and said with a little expectation, can I call you guardian? It seems that he is still being targeted. I should be called the Dharma Protector, don't come and grab it. Zhang Wen was still a little obsessed with the title of Dharma Protector. When he heard that someone else wanted it, he immediately quit. Didn't you say you were called Fatty? Brother Yongmeng looked innocent. What did I do to offend anyone? I'm called Fatty and Dharma Protector, isn't that okay? No, I'm called Fat Dharma Protector. It's hard for him to be so shameless. Brother Yongmeng didn't know how to respond. He didn't care and didn't want to fight for anything. He just made up a code name. How come he seemed to have made an enemy? It's time now, Fatty, you're still making trouble. You call me Fatty Dharma Protector, and the big guy you call me Thin Dharma Protector. Don't argue anymore. Xiao Jing'er intervened forcefully and made the final decision. But how was this strong man who weighed at least 160 pounds thin? Brother Zhen, you should also give yourself a nickname. The bald uncle was almost depressed to death just now. It seems that you have all started to form cliques here, and I have no sense of existence at all. Suddenly Xiao Ming handed him a step, and he quickly took it. Then I will call you Elder Jia. When everyone heard it, wow, you are not polite. But this also expressed a kind of goodwill to get along with others. Several people smiled at each other and felt that they were closer to each other. Master, what do you think we should do next? The thin protector continued to test Zhang Xiaoming. Well, Fatty, what do you think? Xiaoming decisively passed the buck. Zombies have appeared. This should be a world of apocalypse survival. Fatty is good at analyzing the plot. From the zombies that were chopped by the Thin Guardian, the zombies in this world are not strong, too slow, and not powerful. As long as they are not blocked, the threat is small. There will probably be more powerful monsters. We'd better get something to put on our bodies for defense. And everyone should take a weapon. It's better to be longer, so as not to let the zombies get close to you. They are likely to be contagious. Everyone agreed with this analysis, worthy of being a senior otaku. Several people unconsciously straightened their backs and listened to him more seriously. This is a high-tech scientific research center. We'd better find a monitoring system. Does anyone among us know how to use a computer? Who can't use a computer? But everyone also understood what he meant, and didn't care about the small problem of inappropriate words. Elder Jia spoke, I often watch the monitoring system of our hotel, and I have no problem with the operation. I can't hack or anything like that. It's okay as long as you can use it. Hey, that's just saying, I don't even know if the monitoring system is still running, Zhang Wen replied. Hey, I have an idea. Xiao Ming made a misleading suggestion. There is a window in the corridor. Let's go and see if it is safe outside the building. Also, see if it is high. If it is not high, Xiao Ming pointed to the fire axe in the thin protector's hand. There is a water pipe near the axe. We can use the pipe to go down to the outside of the building. Good idea. Okay. Xiao Ming the fat protector clapped his hands suddenly and forgot to call the nickname. However, Xiao Ming can also be regarded as a nickname. This is a survival mission. The inside of the building must be the most dangerous. If we can go outside the building, it should be safer than inside. When he said this, Xiao Jing'er and Zhenbo also thought it made sense. Only Zhao Yongmeng looked at a face that was both amused and helpless. What you said makes sense, and I can't refute it. But this building is underground. There is soil outside the building. Can we still dig a hole to get out? But he didn't know how to say it. He couldn't say that he knew the situation here a long time ago, right? His expression froze for more than 10 seconds. When he saw the others looking at him with strange eyes, he realized that he had lost his composure. I agree. The leader is wise and powerful. He will unify the martial arts world for thousands of years. I'm just worried that there won't be zombies everywhere outside. That would be bad luck for us. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 142. According to Xiao Ming's bad idea, everyone started to prepare. The main thing was to get a weapon for everyone. This is just a staff lounge, where can there be any weapons? In the end, it was Brother Yongmeng who dismantled all the tables and chairs. Everyone got a metal pipe, the original bracket of the table and chair. It is light and hard, very suitable. In addition, the alloy tabletop of the small round table was dismantled, which is not heavy and can be used as a shield. A strap was fixed to the tabletop, and Zhang Wen carried it on his back. It is not comfortable to walk with it, and it is definitely not suitable for climbing up and down. It is more convenient to carry it on the back. Xiao Ming also pretended to follow the others to work. In secret, he was checking his own condition. This is very necessary. First of all, Xiaoming found that this body is really his original body. Xiaoming, who often operates various replicas, has the ability to distinguish the authenticity of the body. This means that the reincarnation space is not like a game, which virtualizes a world and the player's body. The reincarnation space does not even use replicas, but the original body of the reincarnator. Then these plot worlds should also be real worlds. At the very least, they are so-called small worlds. In fact, Xiaoming has always felt that if there is a reincarnation space, it is very likely that a replica is used to revive again and again. It's a slap in the face. No wonder it is said that there will be real death here. Since it is real death, what does it mean to be resurrected with points? Does this mean that the reincarnation space does have the ability to revive the dead? It is not the fake resurrection skills in the game. It's not bragging, right? Since it is a real world and a real body, those things in the game should not be used. Check it out, it is indeed true. Those common equipment in the game, such as Neza, can't be found. Summon the housekeeper space to take a look, and it is the things that Xiaoming picked up from Nuwa Star. Haha, the backstage of the reincarnation space is very respectful. Since Qingxinglu can distinguish Xiaoming's superpowers, it can naturally distinguish the telekinesis transformed from superpowers. In theory, reincarnationists should not be allowed to cheat with this space ability. Bringing things from one world to another is very scary. Just think about what would happen if the T-virus from the world of Resident Evil was brought to other worlds. Those are all real worlds. The reincarnation space did not isolate Xiaoming's housekeeper space, which was obviously a gesture of goodwill from Qingxinglu to Xiaoming. On the other hand, it also believed that people with such status would not mess around. It's not that Xiaoming would not mess around, but he didn't dare to mess around. He still knew his own weight. Keep a low profile. If he didn't mess around, he wouldn't cause the hostility of Qingxinglu. If he used it normally, the other party shouldn't mind. With the housekeeper space as a backing, Xiaoming can still have some confidence in his future survival and development in the reincarnation space. The reincarnation space provides a personal panel for reincarnators. It is convenient for everyone to understand their current strength and rating. In the future, there will be a reference for buying things, skills, bloodlines, etc. from the space. This Xiaoming does not have it. Xiaoming can only be regarded as a visitor, not a real reincarnator. The reincarnation space will definitely respect Mr. Xiaoming. It is impossible to create a personal panel and data for him. But he was given a lock score of 100 points. It should be used to revive Xiaoming who died in the mission. It is equivalent to an infinite resurrection buff. It is mainly for prevention. If Xiaoming resurrects with his own power and fails to control it well, it may affect the normal operation of the plot world. For the existence of the level of Qingxinglu, life and death in reality is really not a big deal. That's why they respect Xiaoming, who doesn't seem to have much strength but has super high quality energy in his body. In fact, it is not a misunderstanding. Qingxinglu did not recognize the wrong person, but Xiaoming himself did not know enough about his own superpowers. And these responses are automatic, which have been set in the reincarnation space. It is similar to the automatic reply of a computer program, and there is no person in Qingxinglu doing these things. According to everyone, their personal panels have not been opened yet. They have to pass the novice mission before they can. So at this time, everyone's personal panel also has a countdown for a survival mission. The result of all the busy work is of course a waste of effort. The 5 people went to the corridor window and saw that the glass was so strong that they couldn't break it. The few people didn't give up and went into a very spacious conference room. Zhao Yongmeng killed 4 zombies inside. Xiaoming shot another one in the head. When everyone was observing from the large window of the conference room, Xiao Jing realized that the scenery outside the window was not real. It was just a projection. Red Queen's skills were not good enough. Xiaoming showed some frustration appropriately because he came up with a bad idea. The other people also comforted him. Elder Jia suggested, "Why don't we just not leave, save our energy and defend it in Gata? Maybe we can survive for 3 hours." Xiao Jing'er expressed strong opposition. If it was just to get through the novice mission, these people would not have chosen to accept the invitation of the reincarnation space. Everyone wants to come in and try their luck. In this case, you should go out and try to get some hidden missions. Isn't this kind of plot common in novels? It's easiest to get high scores in the novice world, then you get hidden rewards, everything will go smoothly in the future. Xiao Jing'er daydreams as much as her brother. The Thin Guardian thinks that it may not be a bad idea to defend with the advantage of the terrain. If you kill more zombies, you may get high scores. The Fat Guardian thinks that it is better to defend if you are alone. But now these 5 people are together and they are considered strong and powerful. There are only 10 reincarnations in total. If you don't dare to gamble like this, then you really have no right to mix in the reincarnation space in the future. The 4 people's eyes are all focused on Xiaoming, waiting for the leader to make a decision. Don't do this, it's too stressful. Xiaoming can understand why Zhao Yongmeng wants to defend. He doesn't just want to gain power in the reincarnation space, he needs to be alive to pass on information to the military. Actively leaking information about the reincarnation space is not allowed. But the military still has a good understanding of the reincarnation space. Why? It is because although the reincarnationists cannot actively disclose information, the military can analyze a lot of potential information by carefully observing their every move. In addition, the military must have its own supernatural power users. So for Zhao Yongmeng, saving his life is more important. But for Xiaoming, what is important? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 143. Black high heels, smart office uniform, curvy figures, long hair. He turned around limpingly, and what he saw was a face that was covered in blood and flesh. *CK, it turns out there is this type of back image killer. It looked like the nose was about to fall off, and there seemed to be a fly sitting on the exposed hole. It was definitely confirmed to be a zombie. Even zombies can still be seen as long as they are not disfigured. Being so disfigured really challenges people's endurance. I saw her shrugging her nose that was about to fall off, and seemed to smell something. Hey, not far ahead, there were 3 fresh foods. The good-looking uniformed zombie immediately spread its legs and staggered towards the food. There were dozens of zombies stumbling along with her. The food in front is Xiaoming, Xiao Jing'er, and Zhang Wen. The 5-person group finally parted ways. The Thin Protector decisively abandoned the leader, this traitor, he. Meeting Zhang Xiaoming's true form in the reincarnation space was an unexpected event. Zhao Yongmeng weighed it up and felt that it was more important to perform the original military mission. Therefore, instead of following Xiaoming, he chose to stick to his position. If he doesn't leave, Uncle Zhen will naturally stay with him. Xiaoming and the others could have chosen to stay. After all, the main soldiers had stayed, and it seemed safer to stay there. But the 3 of them still chose the adventure tacitly. After leaving Zhao Yongmeng, Xiaoming breathed a sigh of relief and finally felt relaxed. It was as if a heavy burden had been lifted off me, and when I was with him, I always felt like a light was hanging on my back. On the way, Xiaoming explained the situation to Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen. First, Zhao Yongmeng probably has an official background, so be careful when speaking in front of him. Second, he had encountered the secret realm of Resident Evil in the game before, so he gave the 2 of them a general introduction to the situation. After all, Xiaoming had communicated with the Red Queen, and later sorted it out with the team members, so he knew a lot. According to what Xiao Mingming said, I think those who invaded the base from the outside should be the key to this secret realm, this world. Zhang Wen began to analyze, also, and the person you killed should also be the key. The plot should be about them. Let's go find them. Xiao Jing'er disagreed. With the plot of this kind of zombie movie, everyone around the protagonist will definitely die cleanly. It's good to have one or two left. Yes, there are many plots around the protagonist, and there are many dangers. We don't know the plot, so we may not be able to take advantage of it like in the past, and it may still be more dangerous than before. Xiao Ming followed up with analysis, the protagonists may not believe us. Besides, who is the real protagonist? If you can't gain trust, you may be tricked to death. Xiao Ming is afraid of being tricked by the famous queen. I remember how high-spirited I was when I led 2 aliens and more than 20 zombies to sweep through thousands of troops. As a result, the popular queen rebelled and crushed herself into ashes as soon as she made a move. Xiao Ming is still a little angry now. After discussing it, the trio decided to fight on their own. It's always right to kill more zombies. Xiao Ming can kill anyone alone, let alone now he has 2 more helpers. In the umbrella base, although not every door requires the approval of the Red Queen before it can be opened, there are not many doors that can be opened casually. After the zombie virus broke out, the Red Queen had sealed off the entire base. The 3 of them thought they would have to break down the door violently. Unexpectedly, Xiao Ming used the ID card he carried to open the door. Xiao Ming didn't believe it if the Red Queen forgot to lock all her identity cards. I guess that girl's film was secretly given the green light, probably because she wanted to see clearly what these people wanted to do. Although Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen are also capable of telekinesis, they have not yet mastered the Ju technique. They are mainly still doing basic exercises. Xiao Ming's original plan to rely on invisibility to fight zombies is no longer possible. So the 3 of them combined their efforts and chose another battle formation. Zhang Wen is holding the tabletop as a shield in front, and Xiao Jing'er is guarding the left rear with a gun, metal tube. On the back right is the long-range soldier Xiao Ming. Xiao Ming uses his long-range skill, Dan Luluer, to act as ADC. Danyoluer is a telekinesis skill he developed himself, which can be used in the reincarnation space. Another long-range skill, coin flicking, is a general skill rewarded by the game system. It cannot be used in the reincarnation space. Xiao Ming's housekeeper's space is piled with a large amount of ammunition collected by the 3 of them, enough for him to play for several hours. Pebbles, wood blocks, metal pieces, attached to Xiao Ming's enhanced telekinesis power, they continuously bounce towards the original zombies. It's so easy to destroy flowers with your hands. Just now, you were drooling at someone's back, but now a pebble has passed by. Instantly broke someone's neck. Men are indeed big pig hooves. Xiao Ming firmly denies it. I'm giving her plastic surgery. Don't you think this zombie is much prettier without her head? Although these telepathy-enhanced rags are far less powerful than submachine gun bullets, they are enough to deal with these zombies. What's really weird is that behind the trio, there is a cheerleader jumping up and down, Brother Wen, you are the best. Brother Wen, you are the best. This is one of Brother Wen's neon beasts, the uniformed cheerleader. Can add buff to 3 people. With the cheerleaders around, everyone's spirits improved a lot. It's no wonder it's Brother Wen. His mind power is not as abundant as Xiao Ming's, but he can actually develop such a practical mind beast. Sure enough, perverted. If she had time, Xiao Jing'er would definitely complain about Zhang Wen. But at this moment, he couldn't care less. Xiao Jing'er held the weapon tightly, and was highly focused. She was ready to shoot a zombie if it approached. How could a brother let his sister take action? When more than a dozen zombies were about to approach Zhang Wen's shield, A giant beast more than 2 meters tall blocked Zhang Wen. It was Xiaoming who released the Mind Beast clone, the alien lord. Just a sweep of his tail. All the zombies fell backwards to the ground. The front few zombies were directly swept by the alien lord's tail, and their ribs and spines were broken. The more than 10 zombies behind were not injured. They were just crushed by the zombies in front and couldn't get up for a while. One by one, they tried hard to push away the fellows who were pressing on them so that they could get up and eat. Unfortunately, there was no such opportunity. Xiaoming controlled the alien lord to jump onto the pile of zombies, and beat them violently with his big tail. In just a moment, there were no zombies that could move. Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen were dumbfounded. Such a powerful fighting power should be released earlier. They used condensation and could see the alien lord. When I just heard Xiaoming's story, I didn't feel anything. It was not until I saw it with my own eyes that I could feel the powerful deterrent power of the alien lord. Xiaoming pouted. In the game's Resident Evil Secret Realm, the alien lord was huge, and he had to bend down and lower his head when walking in the corridor. At this moment, the alien lord was only more than 2 meters tall, far behind. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 144. If the alien clone sweeping the zombies was amazing, then the following undead magic was shocking and frightening. Seeing Xiaoming use the magic skills in the Magic Planet, the sister and brother Wen's jaws almost dropped. The bodies of dozens of zombies melted away in front of the 3 people, and 2 of them turned into 2 zombies and stood up again. The natives may not be able to distinguish between zombies and zombies. These 2 people have played the Magic Planet game, and if you look closely, you can tell the difference between zombies and zombies. The main difference is in the year and quality. It feels like we are discussing wine. Zombies are fresh goods that have just died, while zombies are old goods that have been buried underground for many years. Of course, the zombies summoned in the reincarnation space have no time to be buried in the ground. Their cause may be the result of transformation by the breath of death and magic power. Seeing the zombies was enough to surprise Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen. Who knew that 5 or 6 skeleton soldiers stood up one after another? Can the undead magic in the game be used in reality? This is too awesome. Xiaoming learned the lesson from the last secret realm. Last time in the biochemical secret realm, Xiaoming preserved his strength and did not create skeleton soldiers. As a result, the character died later, and the accumulated skeletons and death auras were gone with the wind. Don't be stupid this time. With the skeletons and death auras, Xiaoming immediately converted some of them into soldiers, and the rest were prepared for emergency and repair of skeleton soldiers. Oh my! Zhang Wen was shocked and dazed, and burst out a long string of swear words. Xiaoming Ming, this is undead magic. You, me, that. The fat man seemed to want to express something, but he was already incoherent. Despise it, you see Xiao Jing'er is not as startled as you. Ah! Ghost! Dash! The girl suddenly hugged Xiaoming's arms with both hands and screamed. The metal pipe in her hand almost stabbed Xiaoming's eyes. Fortunately, there was telekinesis protection. I praised you in vain, but you just have a longer reaction time than others. Xiaoming was depressed. At the same time, Xiaoming also realized that he had not mentioned the fact that he could use magic in real life to his sister and Zhang Wen. Actually, it's okay to use magic, but it's too ungentle to use necromancy in front of a little girl. I only know this. Xiaoming was speechless, thinking that you were quite excited to fight zombies just now. What scared you now? Nonsense. Can zombies and skeletons be the same? How can you not be scared when you suddenly see a living skeleton in real life? Xiao Jing'er was full of grievances. There was only one bathroom nearby that was more suitable, so the 3 of them hid in the bathroom to discuss things. Xiaoming comforted his sister with gentle words. Zhang Wen asked questions one after another, Xiao Jing'er tried her best to calm down, and Xiao Ming hurriedly explained to the two. After a lot of nonsense, things were finally sorted out a little. While the two of them deepened their understanding of the game, they also deepened their fear. It turns out that magic is real. But game players are ordinary people. Is it okay to teach magic to these ordinary people? No, why can't I use magic? Zhang Wen, who was pretending to be arrogant, found that he couldn't use magic at all. He immediately lost his composure. Xiao Ming sighed helplessly. What is coming will come. Originally, Xiao Ming had never told them about the Yanhuang 3-star system. After all, it was a big deal. But now that the three of them have become reincarnations, it is also a big deal. Official attention is inevitable. There is no need to continue to hide things in outer space. Hey, let me tell you a story first. The story starts 1.5 million years ago. Xiao Ming finally got to show off once, and he couldn't help but be a little bit arrogant. Blah blah blah. After a lot of talking, Xiao Ming explained everything. The problem of magic was clear. Ordinary players like Zhang Wen, even if they barely learn magic, they don't have mana in reality and can't use magic at all. Xiao Ming can only use magic after converting superpowers into mana. How can others have such conditions? The game is mainly to let people in the Yanhuang 3-star system learn magic. There is magic power in the universe on the other side of the space-time gate. The game players on Pangu Star are just a backup. Damn. Then our big man is not awesome. Brother Wen is indeed a patriotic otaku, and the first thing he thinks of is the country. Brother, have you seen the copies of me and Fatty in outer space? Girls do see different problems. But can I trouble you not to hold the head of the alien clone in your arms and play with it while talking? Don't treat the ferocious alien as a pet. Brother Wen's focus is completely different. In his opinion, the 2-meter-tall alien lord is much scarier than the skeleton soldier. Why is Xiao Jing'er so scared by the skeleton soldier, but can be so close to the alien? Zhang Wen is puzzled. In fact, Xiao Jing'er was not mentally prepared at the time. Suddenly, a lively skeleton appeared in front of her, so of course she was scared. She would be fine after getting used to it. She was no longer afraid. But she didn't plan to explain anything. Only timid girls are loved. Look, didn't my brother lend me his pet to play with? I'm on the transport ship, and my range of activities is very limited. I can't see many people, and I haven't seen your replicas yet. Xiao Ming shook his head and answered his sister's question. After thinking for a while, he said, but even if there were no copies of you before, now that you have started playing games, I think the higher UPS will probably start making copies of you. That would be great. I've wanted to go to outer space for a long time. See how good I am then. By the way, are there any mechas over there? Do you want to fight space monsters? The otaku's thinking is always jumping and nonsense. Do you think this is a movie? Xiao Ming was speechless about Brother Wen's imagination. He completely forgot that he had the same idea at the beginning. They chatted for a while. Zhang Wen suddenly had an idea and strongly asked Xiao Ming to give him some mana. Xiao Jing'er also seemed eager to try. In desperation, Xiao Ming held the hands of the two and transferred some mana to each of them. But they found that they could not use it at all. The general principle of magic is, the magician absorbs the free mana in the environment and converts it into mana that he can use and stores it in his body. Then he can call on these mana to use magic. In other words, he must first make a step of conversion to stamp his own mark on the mana. So of course they can't use Xiao Ming's mana. Moreover, the mana that had been branded could not even be transformed. It could only be allowed to slowly dissipate. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 145. Sister and Brother Wen were not upset that they could not use magic. Look at where this place is. The reincarnation space. A place full of countless possibilities and opportunities. How difficult can it be to learn some magic? Maybe after 1 or 2 reincarnation worlds, they may not be interested in magic anymore. With the support of Xiao Ming's powerful magic and telepathy, Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen are confident that they can make a name for themselves in the reincarnation space. And Xiao Ming was overjoyed. The things he had been experimenting silently finally paid off. Thank you for the energy support you provided to Jianxin Tower. I'll give you a small gift. It's just a small gift, not a respect. I hope you will accept it. The voice claiming to be Jianxin Tower sounded in Xiao Ming's ears again. Since entering the reincarnation space, Xiao Ming has been releasing sporadic primitive superpowers into the surrounding environment. Sometimes it is intentional, and sometimes it is unconscious. Xiao Ming has already developed a habit. No matter where Xiao Ming's consciousness is connected, he will release some primitive superpowers around him intentionally or unintentionally. In his own words, this is called giving back to the world. It was the first time he saw the world giving back to him. Xiao Ming clearly felt a stream of energy flowing towards him. This must be the so-called gift. Xiao Ming accepted it without any malice in his telekinesis. He couldn't help but have some expectations in his heart. What would it be? Artifact. S-level skills. God-level bloodline? The gift that Qingxinglu said openly couldn't really be a mere gift, right? Unexpectedly, nothing was seen. That energy flowed directly into Xiao Ming's body and could never be found again. Not to mention artifacts and bloodline, it didn't even strengthen his physique a little bit. It seemed that there was no actual change. But in the dark, Xiao Ming felt that the benefits he got this time were huge. This energy should strengthen his superpowers. How to explain it? Xiao Ming felt that his superpowers were like a sapling, very young and very tender. But it can be transformed into almost any form of energy. And this new energy has planted another seed for him. In time, this new seed will also take root and sprout, and grow into another sapling. In other words, from now on, Xiao Ming has 2 sources of superpowers. In this way, the superpowers released into the space will probably also give a new seed to the reincarnation space. The name of Qingxinglu is Source Energy. Source Energy refers to the original energy, right? So Qingxinglu will return the favor and give Xiao Ming a Source Energy seed. It is normal for Xiao Ming to think so, but it is slightly different from the truth. Compared with the source energy given to him by Qingxinglu, his original meager superpowers can be called a sapling. It can be imagined that the superpowers/source energy he gave to Qingxinglu, facing the power of the reincarnation space itself, are probably like a grain of sand compared to the entire Pangu star. It is negligible. In fact, the source energy seeds given by Xiao Ming are far less useful to Jianxin Tower than the source energy seeds given by Jianxin Tower. Although Xiao Ming's gift is also valued, the reincarnation space actually values the goodwill expressed by Xiao Ming more. In the eyes of Jianxin Tower, different source energies are different forces. No matter how strong it is now, it can be on par with itself in the future. This future is calculated in millions or even billions of years. For the existence of reincarnation space and Jianxin Tower, a million years is just a blink of an eye. Their perspective on things is very different from that of humans. For example, humans may ask, isn't it better for Jianxin Tower to just take Xiao Ming down and eat him? Is Jianxin Tower still a saint? This question will become clearer in the future as Xiao Ming grows up. Now we can only say that Jianxin Tower is definitely not a saint. It is indeed very strong, but it is still unable to completely take Xiao Ming down. The communication between Xiao Ming and Jianxin Tower is all carried out in secret. Although Xiao Jing'er was right next to him, he couldn't hear it. But when the image of a white little fox floated out from Xiao Ming's chest, he could see it. Mao Moer, the girl cheered, pushed the big head of the alien clone aside, and stretched out her hands to pounce on the little fox. Maomoer was just a holographic image, so it was natural that she would miss, but Maomoer certainly knew the host's sister. She immediately jumped back and forth to act cute, trying her best to please. Xiaoming was very depressed. Why don't you ever act cute when you are with me? Gender discrimination. Why are you here? Xiao Jing'er certainly thought of this question. He didn't bring his own pet in, so how did his brother bring Mao Mao in? I don't know either. I came here in a daze, Maomoer replied. Then the little fox and the girl's eyes shot to Xiaoming at the same time. Explain it. Xiaoming was also confused. It is normal for Mao Mao to live in his body and be brought here. But why did he show up now? Is it because he is not used to the local climate? Yes, it can be said that Maomoer is not used to the local climate. The reincarnation space must ensure a certain degree of fairness. Characters like Maomoer, who are like portable grandfathers, must be isolated. But Xiaoming is in love with Qingxinglu. The quarantine was naturally cancelled. Or in other words, Xiaoming's visa level was upgraded. Although Maomoer has been playing with Xiao Jing'er. But he is a multi-threaded artificial intelligence, and he has been communicating with Xiaoming in secret since he appeared. After understanding the background setting, Maomoer urged Xiaoming to bring scientific instruments next time. To conduct a comprehensive investigation of the reincarnation space. The bear child is bold and reckless. As a high-level bear child who was only 1 week old, Maomoer is also unique. Xiaoming quickly extinguished his wishful thinking. He didn't have the courage. The strength of the new Han Kingdom was terrifying enough, but compared with the reincarnation space, the new Han Kingdom was only at the level of primitive people. He couldn't even deal with the military of the Han dynasty, and he dared to make small moves in the reincarnation space. He should find a good crooked tree to hang himself. So Maomoer can only be an ornamental pet in the team for the time being. But this time will not be long. I believe that it won't be long before his data collection and processing capabilities will surprise Xiaoming and the other two. Puff, a metal pipe quickly pierced through a zombie's head and quickly retracted. The corpse fell to one side. Xiao Jing'er, who had just killed a zombie, was wiping the sweat off her forehead. After his sister's strong request, Xiaoming had to let a zombie come over for his sister to kill personally. Is it really okay to have such a violent sister? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 146. This is Zhang Wen's suggestion, leaving 1 or 2 zombies for him and Xiao Jing'er to practice and get familiar with the battle. If all the zombies were killed by Xiaoming, the 2 of them would probably not get experience and could not level up. What he said made sense, and Xiaoming could not refute it. So when they were cleaning up the next laboratory and encountered 7 or 8 zombies, Xiaoming deliberately left 1 for the 2 to practice. This zombie that was knocked down by Xiao Jing'er was also very unlucky. It was much more pitiful than other zombies. The reason is very simple. Killing is really not suitable for an ordinary girl like Xiao Jing'er. She really doesn't know how to start. The first attack, the strength used was not enough. The metal pipe that was stabbed out only made a blue spot on the zombie's forehead. It didn't even scratch the scalp. This is the result of her feeling that she has used a lot of strength. Is this hitting the zombie or massaging the zombie? Xiaoming quickly pinched the back of the zombie's neck with his clone and pressed it in place. Moving targets are too difficult, so I'd better practice with fixed targets first. Xiao Jing'er tried to find the zombie's weaknesses while gradually increasing her strength. Throat, eyes, heart, she changed end positions. But after all, she was too weak. She stabbed the zombie 20 or 30 times, but did not cause any effective damage. The zombie was still flailing. So Jiang Wen tried a few more times. He was an old otaku, and his strength was not much greater than that of a 17-year-old girl. The result was naturally the same ugly scene. In fact, if Xiaoming had not strengthened his body with the original liquid of life, he would have been at about the same level. In the end, Xiaoming remembered to use his superpowers to strengthen the metal pipe, sharp end. Xiao Jing'er stabbed 3 more times before successfully piercing the zombie's head. It ended its short and pitiful zombie career. I don't know how this zombie, who was unable to resist and died after being stabbed dozens of times, felt. If it knew about it, it should go to the king of hell and sue these 3 guys for animal abuse. Although the zombies were killed, the 3 people did not look happy at all. Because Xiao Jing'er and Jiang Wen both found that they thought the reincarnation space was too simple. At the same time, they praised themselves in their hearts, so wise. Fortunately, the thighs were also pulled in, otherwise I might not even pass the novice level. When reading novels, I think those protagonists are just ordinary people. After entering the reincarnation space, they use their intelligence and talents to easily kill people. It seems that anyone who enters the reincarnation space can become a Superman without any effort. Then you can go back to reality and pretend to be cool. Although they also know that the books are all stories, which are different from reality. But they are still inevitably led astray by the novels. Only then did they happily accept the invitation of the reincarnation space. In fact, most of the UnlimitedFlow novels also emphasize the difficulty, and the protagonists have to work hard to achieve something. It's just that the habit of reading 10 lines at a glance and only looking at the exciting parts makes many people skip the part where the protagonist works hard and only see the success at the end. That's why there are misunderstandings. It's not that easy until you experience it yourself. With the physical strength and experience of ordinary people, it's a problem to deal with a zombie. What should I do if I encounter a few zombies? What should I do if I encounter a group of zombies? Even if it's a novice mission, it's full of dangers and a life or death situation. So the 2 of them put their hopes on their Thai Xiaoming. According to the common routines in the UnlimitedFlow, as an ordinary person, you should explode your small universe at the critical moment and break the gene lock. In the test of iron and blood, fight to the death to carve out a bloody path. Transform into a real fighter and win a ray of hope in a life or death crisis. Such a routine is simply impossible for the 3 of them to play. It may be a life or death routine for others, but for Xiao Jing'er and Jiang Wen, it is probably a life or death situation. Besides, Xiaoming would never let them fall into that situation. Do you think this leader is just eating for free? And Xiaoming thinks that the reincarnation space does not want to select the kind of warrior-type talents, at least not all of them. If you want pure warriors, you can choose those special forces, athletes, gangsters, professional killers, and the like. But the reincarnation space did not do that. It selected young girls like Xiao Jing'er, otaku uncles like Jiang Wen, and office workers like bald uncles. What does this mean? Does it mean that the reincarnation space randomly selects reincarnations? Xiaoming does not think so. According to Xiaoming's observation, the life energy of each of the 10 people participating in this novice mission is 1 level higher than that of ordinary people. It's just that the manifestation of life energy is different. Among them, there are people like Zhao Yongmeng, who mainly manifests in physique. In fact, his intelligence is not bad. His grades are ranked 2nd in the 33rd team, a real 3 good student. There are also people like Xiao Jing'er, who can be regarded as manifested in intelligence. There are also people like Jiang Wen, who manifest in special hobbies. Except for the 3 of them, the others probably haven't mastered the method to systematically train their life energy. These people are like rough stones. The reincarnation space invites them in, uses the reincarnation world to polish them, and turns them into gems. Of course, this is just Xiaoming's guess. The actual situation may only be known by asking Qingxinglu. It can be seen from the way the reincarnation space selects people that it pays more attention to the life energy of the reincarnated. In this case, the road ahead has a direction. But what should we do with the novice mission now? The novice mission is to survive for 3 hours. This mission is not difficult at all. Just hold on like Zhao Yongmeng and the others. But that would be a waste of Xiao Ming's combat power. The three of them discussed it and decided that the time for the novice mission was limited, so they gave up the idea of practicing. At present, we should try our best to get points and strive to pass the first level with high scores. Get more rewards and improve the level of Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen as soon as possible. Try to skip the initial stage when novices are the weakest as soon as possible. Build a decent combat system for everyone. So Xiao Ming started the undead disaster mode, with the alien lord and the undead army, sweep all the zombies encountered in the hive. Unless you encounter a crawler, the zombie is nothing in front of the alien lord. The crawler must be large scale to be threatening. Xiao Ming will not let himself be surrounded again. Try to release the circle. At least you can see and monitor the range of several hundred meters. In the umbrella base, due to the barriers of various access control, the zombies have been restricted to different areas. There are rarely large groups of zombies. This is convenient for Xiao Ming and his friends to eliminate them one by one in batches efficiently. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 147. In fact, the Red Queen handled zombies pretty well in the first Resident Evil movie. Separate them into different areas of the hive. The largest group of zombies is only a few dozen to 100, only one can reach the sky. A fully armed mercenary team can completely handle this level of zombie swarm. In other words, if the protagonist and the Red Queen in the movie cooperated well, they could have easily eliminated the zombies in the entire base. The crawlers can still stay comfortably in the nutrient cage and enjoy the feeding of the Red Queen, without having to go out to look for food. The protagonist's team forcibly shut down the Red Queen, shut down the entire system, and opened all the access control, which made things completely slide into an uncontrollable abyss. This is the plot of the first movie. Later movies showed that the Umbrella Corporation deliberately spread the T-virus to infect the world and clean up mankind. It has little to do with the local incident in Raccoon City. So in the second part, Umbrella is trying desperately to control the spread of the virus. Is it just a show? Equals 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 divider equals 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 equals. Let's turn our attention back to Xiao Ming and his party. The Red Queen's blockade of the base objectively helped them. It is convenient for them to eliminate zombies in batches. In the last secret realm, Xiao Ming and Red Queen actually cooperated in this way. It's a pity that the breakup turned out to be ugly. Loli is so fierce. This time in the reincarnation space, the Red Queen did not show up, did not actively provide weapons, and just secretly allowed them to collect the zombies. After every wave of zombies is cleared, Xiao Ming will first release a wave of death harvest and corruption spells. The dead zombies will turn into a pile of skeletons. And those left behind are the zombies who are still alive. These zombies will be swarmed by Xiao Ming's undead army and suppressed to the ground, unable to move. As fixed targets, Xiao Jing'er and Brother Wen will do the finishing touches. After they are all killed, Xiao Ming will do the death harvest again. After harvesting, Xiao Ming gave the harvested items to his sister and Brother Wen to sort out. He used the breath of death and bones to expand the undead army. When the total number of zombies and skeleton soldiers reached 70 or 80, the battlefield became very crowded, and the battle with zombies evolved into street fights. The alien clone could no longer squeeze in. A group of zombies and a group of undead were boxing together. The result of the fight was of course that the undead army on Xiao Ming's side had the upper hand. In terms of individual combat effectiveness, zombies and skeletons are relatively strong. After all, they are combat arms created by magic. The body has been strengthened by the breath of death. Zombies are not like that. They are just corpses infected by viruses and become zombies. Most of them have not been strengthened by the T-virus, and their physiques are almost the same as ordinary people, fighting 5 scum. Moreover, the zombies created by the T-virus have weaknesses, and they can be killed by severe damage to the head and spine. Xiao Ming's zombies and skeleton soldiers do not have this weakness. In the language of the game, they rely on the breath of death to maintain activity. It doesn't matter if your head falls off. What's more, there is Xiao Ming in the back row who is using magic to repair the injured skeleton soldiers. In fact, if it weren't for the scent of Xiao Ming and others to seduce the zombies, none of these zombies would fight the undead army. Zombies and skeletons are not delicious. After the undead army grew to a large scale, Xiao Ming, the 3 of them and the alien clones were left idle. It's so boring that I almost play a deck of cards to play landlord. Watching the battle between the undead and zombies, Xiao Ming found that due to terrain restrictions, only less than 20 zombies and skeleton soldiers in front were fighting, while the others were watching the fun. So I had an idea and took up my old game when playing games, transforming skeleton soldiers. Use superpowers and bones to make crossbows and crossbow arrows for skeleton soldiers. Soon more than 20 crossbow skeleton soldiers appeared and began to attack zombies from a distance in the back row. When Zhang Wen and Xiao Jing'er saw this scene, their 4 eyes were shining. It turns out there is such an operation. This is awesome. Xiao Ming was still unfinished, and successively modified more than 20 gun and shield skeleton soldiers. They stood in the front row, and their close combat abilities improved a lot. Now the zombies are in a terrible situation. Before, Xiao Ming's undead army only had an advantage. Now with weapons, the undead army can crush the zombies. The zombies' attack was blocked by the shield, making it completely harmless. The bone spears and bone arrows on the undead side replaced the previous fists, and their attack power more than doubled. The zombies were swept away like a powerful force. On the contrary, Xiao Ming's speed of making crossbows could not keep up with the consumption of battle. The inability to provide sufficient arrows greatly limits the number of Xiao Ming's long-range troops. The melee gun shield skeleton soldiers are more useful. Here is a little explanation. On the strategic map in the Magic Planet game, the crossbow skeleton soldiers modified by Xiao Ming do not require Xiao Ming to continuously supply crossbow arrows. According to the rules of the game's strategic map, the game system automatically gives the crossbow skeleton soldiers a way to replenish their arrows. But it also limits the number of crossbow arrows they can shoot in each battle. That is, the amount of ammunition for the unit. In the reincarnation space, the arrows used by the crossbow skeleton soldiers must be made by Xiao Ming himself, and there is no system to replenish ammunition. But at the same time, there is no longer a limit on the number of crossbow arrows each crossbow skeleton soldier can shoot in one battle. From this point of view, the battle in the reincarnation space is more like the battle on the adventure map in the game. More real. The skeleton army that picked up weapons made the battle very easy, and also reduced the chances of Xiao Jing'er and Wen Ji to make up the enemy. There was no way, the attack power of the undead was too strong, and more zombies were no longer injured and fell to the ground, but were directly killed. The 2 of them felt a little regretful. Xiao Ming completely entered the scientific research mode, and began to conduct various experiments with his zombies and skeleton soldiers. First, when the undead army exceeded 120, Xiao Ming stopped making new skeleton soldiers. The source of zombies is Death Harvest, so their number is still slowly growing. Xiao Ming deliberately left a few skeleton soldiers and zombies behind, wanting to see the range of his control over his subordinates. As a result, he found that his control radius over the undead soldiers was very long, as much as several hundred meters. He could no longer see the figures of his subordinates, but he still felt that he could control their actions. And even after leaving the range of his control, the undead soldiers continued to execute the previous orders. They did not stay in place and not move as Xiaoming worried, or simply disintegrated and scattered into a pile of bones. It was just that the mental connection with Xiaoming was interrupted. As expected of a soldier creature developed by another civilization, its intelligence level far exceeds that of zombies. It is like a robot with a set program. In some ways, it may be more convenient than a robot. If low-level soldier creatures are like this, how can high-level soldiers be any better? Is this the level of magic civilization? Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 148. Space Prompt: the Reincarnator kills the main plot character Alice and gets 1 D-level reincarnation space shopping voucher. The Reincarnator kills the main plot character Matt and gets 1 E-level reincarnation space shopping voucher. It turns out that there is also a system prompt here. Xiaoming, who suddenly got the prompt, was also shocked. He has been working on technology research and development. When did he kill the plot character? At this time, Xiaoming has summoned the Mind Beast Witch to study how to transform zombies with him. Fortunately, the rotten zombie has been made, otherwise if he was distracted by this prompt, it would be ruined again. This kind of thing happened once before. It was originally being studied well, and his sister and Zhang Wen were also helping to give suggestions. Suddenly, there was a power outage, Xiaoming's hand trembled, and the superpower was a little out of shape. The power outage was caused by the plot character and the group forcibly shutting down the system. So the zombie that was being transformed exploded with a bang. The explosion was not very powerful, but it splashed the 3 people with filth. Continue mosaicing. Sister and Guardian were so disgusted that they dared not approach him anymore, especially when he was doing scientific research. The space prompt should not be wrong. Xiaoming thought about it and stood up quickly to check the surrounding situation. This is what happened. Alice and Matt separated from the main force. Matt ran out to find his sister, and Alice accompanied him. The two of them ran into Xiaoming's undead army head-on. As for the zombies that Matt's sister turned into after her death, it is very likely that they had already been killed by Xiaoming's troops. At this time, Xiaoming himself was still squatting among the undead, studying with the witch how to transform zombies. In the Magic Planet game, Xiaoming developed the rotten zombie. It is a zombie that throws the rotten flesh on its body to hit people. The advantage of the rotten zombie is that Xiaoming does not need to provide him with ammunition. Just pick a piece from his own body. In the end, it is nothing more than picking and picking, and the zombie turned into a skeleton. Oh, asterisk. When Xiaoming was focusing on scientific research, his undead army went into automatic defense mode. Alice and Matt couldn't tell the difference between zombies and zombies. Seeing such a group of walking corpses and skeletons, they subconsciously pulled out their guns and shot. If they didn't attack, it would be fine, and the undead wouldn't pay attention to them. This firing stirred up a hornet's nest, and the undead immediately launched a counterattack. Alice at this time was not the Alice who later merged with the T-virus and completely opened up. Now she is just a little better than ordinary people. A round of covering volleys from the crossbow skeleton soldiers killed her and Matt together. It was really unfair to die. Xiaoming looked down at the still hot corpse, and he felt bad. What a pity. Because Xiaoming didn't know that Alice was the great and glorious protagonist in this plot. Fortunately, I escaped the condemnation of my conscience. I'll collect the bodies of you 2 unlucky guys. Xiaoming waved his hand and released the Death Harvest. These 2 are the main characters of the plot, so they both triggered the smallest probability and became undead soldiers. Xiaoming harvested special undead soldiers for the first time, Skeleton Blade Alice, Ghost Mat. Leaving the Magic Planet game, the ranks of soldiers are not as clear as in the game. For example, the skeleton soldiers and zombies under Xiaoming, from the perspective of combat power, should be the level of 0-1 level soldiers. Ghost Mat is probably level 1. The disadvantage of insufficient attack power is obvious, and it seems that it is not as good as the skeleton soldiers. The advantage is that ghosts are spiritual creatures. In the game, they can dodge physical attacks by 50%, can fly, and restore all health points every minute. Of course, the real world is not the same. Spirit creatures are almost not affected by physical attacks in the real world, and they cannot be seen by the naked eye. Can fly, and even pass through walls. Of course, if you want to restore life, you need to absorb the breath of death, and it will not be restored automatically. The overall strength is quite good. Alice's skeleton blade is definitely level 2 or above. It is n times stronger than when she was alive. It is an offensive soldier with high attack and high speed. Its combat effectiveness in Xiaoming's army is second only to the Alien Lord. It's just that the red powder turned into a skeleton, which is a pity for the perfect curves and appearance. Xiaoming and Zhang Wen were there sighing. Sister Xiao Jing'er was completely speechless facing these two useless guys. Although killing plot characters can get shopping coupons for space rewards. But Xiaoming didn't plan to hunt down other plot characters. This is the real world. Even if you are not a saint, you can't become a murderer for a little benefit. There is still a bottom line for being a person. Of course, he can also choose to protect the remaining plot characters, and he should also get corresponding rewards. But Xiaoming didn't choose this routine. He thought of another point to brush points. It was the place where his character John was killed by the Red Queen in the Biochemical Crisis Secret Realm in the Magic Planet game. There are groups of crawlers there. Killing them should earn you a lot of points, right? In fact, he just wanted to seek revenge. Although this so-called hatred was simply a vent of anger. It wasn't the creepers from this world who killed Xiaoming. But Xiaoming still resolutely led the undead army and killed all the way to the destination. With a loud noise, 5 skeleton soldiers and 4 zombies fell to the ground with serious injuries. It was 2 creepers with dark red skin turned outward that jumped into the army. If it were a zombie, it would have been killed by 2 hits. Skeleton soldiers and zombies are much tougher, and they are seriously injured but not dead. The 2 crawlers opened their bloody mouths and roared, and they were about to continue to show their power. A gray light flashed, and the head of a crawler had been chopped off and fell to the ground. Judging from the expression, it probably didn't know that it was dead. The other crawler was startled and turned around to see the situation. A long tail quickly pierced its head. The body immediately fell to the ground. The 2 ferocious crawlers turned into corpses in an instant, and blood plasma gushed out of the wounds, and the corpses were still shaking and twitching there. It was the skeleton knifeman Alice and Xiaoming's alien clones who killed the monsters. Facing the crawlers, Xiaoming did not dare to be careless at all. Alice and the alien clones were arranged in the 3rd row in front of the team. The other skeleton soldiers and zombies were cannon fodder. The attacking crawlers were discovered by Xiaoming's circle early on, so Alice and the alien clone were fully alert. Just as the 2 crawlers pounced and knocked down several undead soldiers, they attacked in the gap between the old strength and the new strength. Alice was very fast, and she rushed forward first and cut off the head of a crawler. The alien clone controlled by Xiaoming quickly followed and stabbed out with its tail, another victory in the battle against the crawlers. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 149. Alas, classmate Zhang Xiaoming felt very sorry. Because after harvesting the corpse of the crawler, he did not get any soldiers, but only got the skeleton and the breath of death. I am lucky to get it, but I am dead. I can't let myself catch up with all the good things. Xiaoming cast the magic summon skeleton on the ground, and 2 crawler skeleton soldiers stood up on the spot. It's not a loss. When the crawler is transformed into a skeleton soldier, there is no data to show, and only the change in combat effectiveness can be roughly estimated and tested. Because there is no flesh and blood, the air resistance is reduced, the power is no longer provided by muscles but by the breath of death, which is barely equal. So the speed should be slightly improved, and the change in attack power is not obvious. The loss of flesh and blood caused the health value to decrease a little, but the defense of the new bone body increased. The biggest change is the long tongue, which disappeared along with the flesh and blood. But it lost an offensive weapon. The crawler was originally called a licker, and the long and flexible tongue is one of its characteristics. Without a tongue, it can only be called a crawler skeleton soldier, and the title of licker skeleton soldier is no longer useful. The combat attributes of the crawler skeleton soldier are no less than Alice, but compared with the combat wisdom, it is not a little bit worse. Beauty is different. When Alice's body was transformed into a skeleton knifeman, Xiaoming felt that this character must have something extraordinary. It's a pity to die. In the previous battle, many undead were knocked down by the 2 crawlers. Among them, 5 skeleton soldiers were fully restored and stood up again under Xiaoming's repair skeleton magic. The 4 zombies that fell to the ground were not abandoned. Xiaoming worked out a way to repair zombies by relying on the breath of death and superpowers. He repaired them too. Technical geeks are really good. As the battle continued to deepen, Xiaoming killed more and more crawlers and zombies. Xiaoming only summoned 6 crawler skeleton soldiers and stopped summoning new ones. The team is a bit full. In addition, Xiaoming also wants to accumulate some skeletons of crawlers for use in the next mission of the reincarnation world. In this mission, Xiaoming's current military strength is strong enough. Wouldn't it be better to put the skeletons in the housekeeper space and save them for the next mission? Considering the various dangers that may be encountered in the reincarnation space in the future, Xiaoming suppressed his nausea and cultivated 2 aliens transformed from crawlers, the eldest and the second. In reality, the alien lord is only more than 2 meters tall, and the eldest and the second are only a circle larger than the police dog. Because they have absorbed the genes of the crawlers, their claws will be larger. In addition, the sharp and retractable molars of the aliens have absorbed the characteristics of the crawler's tongue, becoming longer and more flexible. The process of cultivation is nothing more than first crippling the crawler and pressing it to the ground, knocking out a mouthful of teeth and pulling out the tongue, putting the alien clone into the embryo. The alien larvae break out of the crawler's chest, eat the crawler's corpse and grow into an adult alien warrior. Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen didn't know that the alien lord was Xiaoming's clone, equivalent to Xiaoming himself. So they just felt a little bloody, not very perverted. We know that parasitic alien embryos need mouth-to-mouth. Doing this with a crawler is more uncomfortable than doing this with a big man like Spence. Xiaoming suppressed his nausea and did this kind of thing. It was to better protect the 2 people around him. But he couldn't tell them clearly, I couldn't afford to lose that person, and this awkward feeling made Xiaoming's facial expression cramp throughout the whole process. Brother, what's wrong with your face? Don't you have a virus? The sister asked with concern. LLL Omega, I have a MMP that I don't know if I should say. The sister mentioned the virus and reminded Xiaoming, and reminded him of something. In the Resident Evil Secret Realm, Xiaoming's character John and the alien clone can absorb the free T virus in the air to strengthen their own telekinesis. But that was the situation in the game. It was John and John's alien clone that were strengthened. They were not the same thing as Xiaoming's original body. I don't know if the T virus in the reincarnation world has a similar effect on oneself or the beast. What is here is Xiaoming's original body. It would be great if it can be strengthened. Xiaoming entered the secret realm much earlier, when the virus had just begun to spread in the hive. So there were many free viruses in the air for Xiaoming to absorb. Xiaoming entered the biochemical crisis world in the reincarnation space much later, and the virus in the air of the umbrella base had basically dissipated. Where to find the T-virus at this time? Xiaoming has several copies in his pocket. That's the thing. Xiaoming's magic skill Death Harvest has the highest probability of obtaining bones and death breath. The lowest probability is that the death breath uses the magic effect of Death Harvest to turn the corpse into an undead soldier. There is also a relatively small probability of obtaining items in the middle. Most of the items obtained are things carried by zombies. Glasses, pens, necklaces, rings and other things are generally useless. Some zombies are security personnel, and the items harvested from them may be guns and ammunition. So now the three of them have several guns and daggers for self-defense. Xiao Jing'er also wears a bulletproof vest. These are harvested from military personnel. What can be harvested from scientific researchers? Of course, it is things like viruses, but the quantity is much smaller. Most of them are personal items. So Xiaoming already has 4 viruses and 1 antidote. He also gave Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen 1 T-virus each. According to the prompts in the space, the things obtained in the reincarnation world cannot be taken out directly. At the end of the task, there will be an exchange procedure. The reincarnationist needs to use the shopping voucher to exchange the items for his own before he can take them out smoothly. At the same time, the items used in the exchange pot can get the quality assurance of the reincarnation space. Ensure that they are effective and harmless. If the reincarnationist uses the items in the world without exchanging them, the reincarnation space will not provide protection, and it is a blessing or a curse that he bears himself. Xiaoming took a bottle of T-virus, observed it carefully for a long time, opened the lid, and tried to put in a finger to use superpowers to explore the situation of the T-virus. Be prepared mentally and bear some damage from the virus. But something strange happened. Faced with the temptation of superpowers, the T-virus did not make trouble or resist. Instead, it was directly absorbed into Xiaoming's body in the form of energy. It merged with the source energy seed given by Qingxinglu. Xiaoming could feel the seed absorbing new nutrients and growing a little. Is that so? Xiaoming tried to absorb 2 more viruses, and sure enough, the source energy seed grew a little stronger. This is good news. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 150. Xiaoming plans to keep the remaining virus and antidote. He will exchange them after this mission to see what use they have. Next, he will start to experiment to see if other things can also be used as nutrients and absorbed by the source energy seeds. Xiaoming first tested food and water, which he thought were the most likely. Then he tested various items, and finally he even touched the switch. The result was that none of these things worked. The source energy seeds in the body had no reaction to them. I don't understand it at all. I guess my vision is still too shallow for such high-level things, so it's not surprising that I can't understand it. I'll just make the best of it. If I can't figure it out, I won't think about it. This is Xiaoming's way of dealing with things, so he won't get stuck in a dead end. The mission time is about to end. Xiaoming still has a lot of finishing work to do. Congratulations on successfully completing the novice mission. Become a temporary reincarnation. The 3-hour countdown ended, and the voice of space rang in my ears. The world around me fell into solidification, as if time had stopped. In the blink of an eye, Zhang Xiaoming, Lu Xiaojing, and Zhang Wen were no longer in their original positions. The 3 of them appeared in a white room. In the same room were Zhao Yongmeng, Zhen Bo, and a middle-aged woman. It seemed that the others did not pass the novice mission. Everyone was concentrating on listening to the voice of the space in their ears. Occasionally, they would look at each other with the corner of their eyes. Your number is PG 666606130007. This is your surface identity. Your real identity is VIP007. The tone of the space changed, and Xiaoming had changed from a temporary reincarnation to a VIP. The number was 007. So he was not the first person to come here for tourism. At least 6 people who were no less than him had come here. This shows that it is not the first time that the reincarnation space has dealt with his situation, which makes Xiaoming feel a lot more at ease. It is a blessing, not a disaster, and it is a disaster that cannot be avoided. Just travel and enjoy life with peace of mind. If Qingxinglu/reincarnation space wants to deal with him, Xiaoming does not think he has any room for resistance. The voice of the reincarnation space said a lot of flowery words to Xiaoming, and Xiaoming understood most of it. The gist was, Xiaoming's reincarnation space is different. Xiaoming is a VIP, not a reincarnator. So there are no tasks and no scores. It doesn't matter what you want to do. The space said that it dare not give VIPs a score. Please feel free to do it. Xiaoming's score was permanently locked at 100 points. You can use it as you like below 100 points, including resurrection. This made Xiaoming quite depressed. There was no score, no task, and no reward. Then why did he work so hard to kill zombies and crawlers? The space would certainly not be stingy. There was no reward because it felt that the VIP would not use it. But it would never let the VIP work in vain. All rewards and evaluations would be converted into pure source energy and given to Xiaoming. But because the source energy seeds given to Xiaoming by the space had not yet sprouted, so these pure source energies were absorbed crazily by the seeds. When more than half of them were absorbed, the seeds finally sprouted. At this time, Xiaoming felt more clearly about his own superpowers. It seems that in the soul, in the space of consciousness, there was originally a silver sapling, about 1 meter high, which was the source of Xiaoming's original superpower. Next to the silver sapling is a green seed, which is the source energy seed given to him by the reincarnation space. Just now, it has absorbed enough nutrients and sprouted new buds. It continues to grow with the input of source energy. Finally, it turns into a 3 cm high green grass. The green grass contains a lot of source energy. As for the silver tree, the source energy inside has been consumed by a small half, but it is slowly recovering. Xiaoming is very pleased. This is a huge improvement. In the past, Xiaoming had a vague feeling about his superpowers. He just used it in a confused way. I don't know how much the total amount is, I don't know how much I used each time, I don't know the recovery speed of superpowers. Now I can finally feel these situations more clearly. This will be of great help to the use of superpowers in the future. Not to mention that there is another green grass. It is another source of superpowers. At this moment, Xiaoming was so excited that he wanted to sing loudly, "We ordinary people are so happy tonight." Silver saplings, green grass. This is Xiaoming's personal understanding of the image of source energy. Everyone has different choices for this image. Xiaoming uses trees to represent source energy. The image in other people's understanding may not be trees, but may be animals, stars, mountains, jewelry, jade, weapons, systems, beautiful girls, and so on. Excuse me, temporary reincarnation PG 666606130006 Lu Xiaojing, temporary reincarnation PG 005 Zhongwen, I would like to ask you to form a team. The voice of the space sounded again. Team up? Of course. How can we protect them without a team? Xiaoming hurriedly agreed. Please use your score to purchase a team contract. Oh, it turns out that in addition to resurrection, the score has this use. Xiaoming quickly opened his own score mall according to the prompt of the space. The mall shows the goods that Xiaoming's score can buy. That is, things below 100 points. It's useless to look at it if you can't afford it. The most common item in the raiding mall is the self-resurrection stone, which costs 10 points each. The instructions show, in the same world mission, the first time a reincarnator dies, he consumes 1 resurrection stone to revive himself, the second time, he consumes 2, the third time, he consumes 4. And the reincarnator does not need to buy the resurrection stone in advance. When he dies, as long as the score is enough, the space will ask you whether to revive immediately. At the same time, the space will also remind you that if you don't have the confidence to complete the task, don't revive immediately and give up this task. Wait until the task is completely over before resurrecting. Another item that is in large quantities is the reincarnation team contract. 20 points each. Only the team leader can use it. The rules are similar to the resurrection stone. Recruiting the first reincarnation team member uses 1 contract, the second consumes 2 contracts, the third consumes 4. If you recruit the 9th and 10th team members, how many contracts will you need? Think about 2 out of 8, it's black. Seeing this rule, Xiaoming feels that the space is as deceptive as the Magic Planet game. Maybe the Magic Planet is imitating the reincarnation space. Or it may be that the reincarnation space keeps pace with the times and has learned the tricks of cheating money from modern online games. Seeing the team contract, Xiaoming quickly bought it, but found that the place where the item was originally located was empty. Is it gone after buying it? Xiaoming quickly looked through the entire mall list carefully. Oh, the reincarnation space has really learned bad things. The items sold in the raiding mall are all one time, and they are gone after buying. The goods will be refreshed after each task. No wonder there are many copies of the same item in the mall. I don't know which online game I learned this from. Actually, I just saw it clearly, but I didn't think about it carefully.